From Captain Dak, a super thanks. What would you give up on the Cowboys to bring Justin Herbert to Dallas? So I would assume you're at least moving Prescott in that deal as well. Now, we're going to toss the contracts out of it because it's a non-starter for the Chargers in particular to try to trade Herbert. You can't make that happen. Beyond that, is it just some extra picks? Is that all it takes? Like a one or something? I would say this part too. Do we think Herbert on this team as constructed, are you the favorites in the NFC East still at all? Or are you better than Eagles or the Niners yet? I think you're a little bit better, but I don't think you're clearly better. I think Herbert is a more physically talented quarterback. I think we would pretty much all agree that he's a better athlete, stronger arm, etc. He also still has not done anything yet. Imagine if Dak blew a 27, whatever it was, point playoff lead. Oh my God, he'd never live it down. Now it's Herbert's, he's just great. Which is, again, I think that's Herbert's more talent. That's fair. So we'll have some fun on this one. I'm sure it won't lead to any chaos conversation. I still think Herbert's the answer, by the way, but not maybe as much as some might think. Pick a quarterback. JH for Justin Herbert, DP for Dak Prescott. Sound off and vote in the comments section. From Jimmy, a super thanks. I think Zaven Collins from the Cardinals is a viable trade option. It's a good name to mention because Dallas liked him coming out of Tulsa, if I recall correctly. I think that's the rare young piece Arizona wants to keep for now. Maybe they listen to offers, but I don't think, and then he's playing edge right now, which doesn't quite fit. You want to make him an off-ball linebacker, he wasn't that great there, so he was always a tweener for me. I'd say probably not for maybe all parties involved, at least at this deadline. Could always revisit in the offseason. All right, so check out Super Thanks if you haven't already. Just what Jimmy did, right? Click the $ heart icon, edit your message, send in a Super Thanks, and we'll give you a shout out, just like we do for all Super Chats here on the show. Dwayne Jackson, you're not fat enough to be Mike McCarthy for Halloween. First off, thank you, I guess. Secondly, I'm just going to stuff it with pillows and shirts and stuff and help make the body mass align properly from that perspective. But I appreciate that, Dwayne. Thank you very much. Zeno saying, Jerry Jones already went all in based on what he did in the offseason. That's his all in, what most teams do in an offseason. So no more trades. I would not rule out a trade. I would not rule out a kind of a lower end trade that acquires a depth piece at linebacker or in the secondary, but I would not anticipate a blockbuster trade. Bloodslinger says Sam Williams for a third rounder. I think you'd be selling low, and I don't know. That's the type of guy that if you trade him, teams are going to go, why are you trading him? We're not going to give you very much for him. By shopping him, you tank his trade value. So I don't know if you could right now, given the way he's played this year. I don't know if you want to right now. David B. I think you mean the Cowboys. At a receiver like Jeudy, Sutton, or Mike Evans. Probably not. I don't think Evans gets dealt, even if the Bucs, have some struggles as of late. I think in the end, Jeudy and Sutton are available, but unless Gallup goes down, I don't think Dallas is going to do that because they want to make Michael Gallup or Tolbert work. Do you think the Cowboys need another wide receiver via trade? Y for yes, N for no. It'll be today's pinned comment. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. From Marcus Arnold, trade Gallup to Miami for Cedric Wilson and a 6th or 7th. Shows you how little we think of Gallup these days, don't we? I also don't know if Miami would do that because a lot of us want Gallup gone because he's not been playing well. Other NFL teams know that as well. Epic Redbeard, 3rd for King Henry and a 2nd and Gallup for Davante Adams. It's too much for me to give up for King Henry. He's a 4.3, 4.4 yard per carry guy. That's not bad. That's not King level either. That's like, okay, he's a starter, which you have one of those. And that's a lot to give up for a half season of Derrick Henry. As good as he's been, not the same guy anymore, I can't move a 3rd. If I can get him for a 5th or a 6th, let's ride. No complaints. 2nd and Gallup for Adams is not that far off, actually. I don't think. Plus, you can't draft that your 2nd round pick anyway. But the Raiders really can't afford to trade Davante because if they do, that regime might get fired. And Never underestimate the value of people trying to save their own jobs. Andres Yabarvo, I'm brown and wrinkly. I'll be going as Tom's liver. I love it. It's fantastic. Jerry Jones is in the comments. Tom going to trade 3 first-round picks and Tony Pollard to bring back Zeke. Shit's not funny, Jerry. It is funny, though. I think if you wanted to trade for Zeke, it'd be like a 7th-rounder, honestly. I don't think there's much value there because he's the same guy that got cut and didn't have that much interest when he got cut either. It is a busy fall season for me. We got watch parties. We got the trade deadline. I got a 2-year-old at home. I don't have the same time to cook and clean and prep and all that stuff the way I used to. It's why I love Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They can help you fuel up fast and deliver chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals that are delivered straight to your door and take 2 minutes to cook. That's it. Heat and enjoy, and then get back to crushing whatever you're trying to crush in the process, or just survive because of the home, right? This October and into November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Choose your meals. I'm a big fan of the loaded bacon shredded chicken. That was fantastic. Honey mustard chicken, also underrated. The honey maple barbecue ground beef, fire too. And they've got steaks for you if you're a steak guy like I certainly am. Head to factormeals.com/CowboysChat50 and use code CowboysChat50 to get 50% off. That's code CowboysChat50 at factormeals.com/CowboysChat50 to get the 50% off. With limited draft capital, who is a realistic trade option? Just went through some names on the trade targets video. I think like a backup corner or a depth linebacker is in your range of outcomes. You know, pick swaps or future 5th maybe. And could poaching a practice squad guy become an option? I think that's feasible. Why talk receiver? Try Turpin, Tolbert, Brooks. I agree. I would love to see more of Jalen Tolbert. I'd love to see more of Turpin. And, not force 10 targets a game to Gallup. Some guy says trade Gallup in a day 3 for Renfrow. As mean as I've been to Gallup, I think that's overpaying for him. He's got an expensive-ish contract for this production. He's made like $1 million per catch this year. Seriously. The Raiders don't want to eat his salary. The money's an issue there. I think a day 3 picks up was all it would take to deal with Renfrow, but he's a slot. I have a slot receiver. That's my biggest issue in terms of Renfrow is I think he could be better outside of Vegas because McDaniels is a clown, does not know what he's doing, quote Mitchell Renz, but I don't think Dallas is the right spot for him. Zaire Brown, take Carl Lawson or Shaq Barrett. I don't think you can get Shaq Barrett. Carl Lawson is available. It's a matter of, do you want to add another edge rusher? I don't know if Dallas feels that they need that at the moment. We're getting closer and closer to 169,000 subscribers. That's awesome. If you want more free Cowboys videos, all right, actually, it's not awesome. It's nice. Hit that sub button right now for more free Cowboys YouTube videos and immature jokes. Dwayne Jackson, is it possible the Gallup gets dealt during the draft process, or will Dallas bite the bullet and cut him before next preseason? We'll have to see how the year plays out. Maybe he's not back. They restructured his deal. It limits your cap savings, but you already saved a bunch of money this year by doing that, so it kind of evens out. Let's see how the year plays out. He'll be a cut candidate, though, if this continues, what we saw last week or 2 weeks ago. John A., I think the Broncos or any team that have interest in acquiring Lance, maybe a 3rd in Lance for a Jeudy type of deal. I don't really think so. The most you're going to get is a 5th, right? Because you won that trade. You give up the most for Trey Lance. No one was given more than a 5th. You got offered the 4th. Niners said yes. You can try. That might defeat the reason. Remember why you acquired Trey Lance was not to help this year. It was to see what he can do in the preseason next year. No different than drafting Aiden O'Connell in the 4th round this year, or 5th round, or whatever. It was the exact same mindset, or Clayton Tune, or whatever. You want to see what he can do next year. So you can punt on that now if you want to, but it's not why they acquired him. Mike Jones, who says no? Davante Adams from Gallup straight up. I choose, Lou, this is a reference to my Twitter bit of one-sided trades that favor the Cowboys, caption it, Who Says No? So you can do the exact same thing. Who says no? Put your Cowboys trade ideas in the comment section. You can make them wild. We'll have some fun because, the internet's not a real place anyway. Chris B, need good coaching, the way this team builds. Yeah, you do. And you need coaching that's not going to be, we're going to beat our man one-on-one. You need some more creativity. You need some different things and not just the same stuff. That's the way I go about it. JC Kime, we just need to put TJ Bass left guard and bump Tyler outside. Bass will be the starter next year, so get him in now. I would also not rule out Awesome Richards. Remember, he was drafted. Bass wasn't, although I do think Bass played very well in the preseason. I wouldn't mind giving him a chance. I think he's looked pretty good in the games he's played so far this year. But they seem to want to ride with Adoga, which hopefully is not a killer. Dexon third, Chase Young or Montez Sweat feasible? They're in a weird spot. They should be on the block. Their Commanders are not going to keep both guys. But if they trade one of them, it's kind of Ron Rivera signing his own pink slip because they're going to get fired. And they're not going to post without those guys. They probably won't anyway. So organizationally, it makes sense to sell. Would Ron Rivera do that knowing he might get fired? And Martin Mayhew? Probably not. Also, would they trade him to the NFC East? Don't know about that one. Marika Gray, Derrick Henry, realistic trade. I don't know. He's a weird one. I think there's a bigger name brand than the results we've seen. You can go look at his numbers the past 2 years and see massive volume, good results, but not the same 5+ 300 carry guy we saw, 5 yards per carry guy we saw previously. He's not bad. He's not King Henry anymore. He's just Derrick now. And he's still really good. But what's the cost for him? If I can get him for a 5th or a 6th, I'm in. That is fine. At a certain point, the juice becomes worth the squeeze for a back, even though I don't believe in paying backs overall. But if it's like a 3rd, it's a lot to give up for a half-year rental of a player who would split time with Tony Pollard. We did not get to all your questions. That's okay. Feel free to DM me on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it these days on the Elon bot at WhatGoingDowney. Hit me up whenever you feel the need to.